Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a champion guide for Ultimate Galek, so let's get into it. Alrighty, first of all, let's get him pulled up here. So, Ultimate Galek is a special thing in Raid because he's kind of a new concept. He was added to the game as part of like a partnership between Plarium and Raid Shadow Legends and Amazon Prime. So, I wanted to get this video out ASAP because of the fact that he's going to be only available for like the next week or so. I think until December 29th. You're going to be able to, use your Amazon Prime membership to, connect it to Raid and basically pull him for free if you have that. So yeah, wanted to get this out ASAP. I haven't been able to do as much testing as I would like because I'm going out of town here in like 45 minutes. But I wanted to make sure and get this video up before I go out of town because it's very important to get something out about him. A lot of people in the community are going to be curious and wanting to see a maxed out one and see what the potential is, how hard he hits, all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, admittedly, I'm not going to be as much of an expert as I normally like to be in my champion guides, but I do have one maxed out that I've played around with and geared and Minotaur grinded, and I can at least show you kind of where he's good at and how hard he hits, with maxed out gear and fully ascended and booked up. So full disclosure on that, and let's dive into it here. So as always, for my champion guides, I will have an infographic like this down in the video description where you can see the masteries I currently have on the champion, the books required, the stats and all that, but I'll pull that up here in a little bit. First, I'm going to go over the abilities. We've got a base speed of 98. We got an A1, attacks one enemy with a 50% chance of placing an HP burn debuff on the target for 2 turns if this champion is under an increased attack buff. Fill the champion's turn meter by 10% if the attack is critical. Fill the champion's turn meter by 5% if the attack is not critical. So crit rate is going to be very important to get on Ultimate Galek. And the theme of his abilities here, it seems to be really revolving around him being under increased attack. So you're going to want to pair him with somebody like a Spirit Host, a Seeker, Arbiter, somebody who increases attack to make sure that he's going to be getting these HP burns off. Now, side rant, I wish it wasn't like that. I wish it was just an increased chance if under increased attack. Like, say, 50% chance of placing HP burn. If under increased attack, buff, it's 75%. Like, I wish it was just more reliable instead of all or nothing. That's how I would have done it, but I digress. A2 is attack one enemy, 50% chance of placing an HP burn debuff on the target for 2 turns if this champion is under an increased attack buff, as we went over. Decrease the target's turn meter by 25% and places a 50% increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns if this attack is critical. So at least he does have an ability where he will increase attack on himself. It's not quite permanent though. It's for 2 turns. He has a 3-turn cooldown on this if fully booked. Decrease the target's turn meter by 10% if the attack is not critical. So obviously we're still getting a little bit of utility out of these turn meter manipulations with or without crit, but it's going to be way better to get crit rate on him for multiple different reasons, especially for placing the increased attack buff on this champion if the attack is critical. Then we've got the A3, attack all enemies 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing HP burn for 2 turns if this champion is under increased attack buff. Each hit also has a 75% chance of decreasing the turn meter by 20% if the target is under an HP burn debuff. So this is very cool because AoE HP burn allows us to do many cool things like the spider tanking strategy, where we're able to, do a cross affinity tank to tank the spiderlings, leave the spiderlings alive, HP burn them, get them to tick the spider. I plan on doing a dedicated video where I show this because people are very curious on how that works. If you watch my Ignatius champion guide, you will see it in action where I do AoE HP burn, use Bad Alcazar as a cross affinity tank, and that's how I did my auto Spider 20 clears to get Arbiter my first time around a few months ago. But I will dive in and do a dedicated video on this at some point, especially now that HP burn and freezes are going to synergize with the legendary Dwarf Torment fusion. So stay tuned for that, and I'll definitely be going more in depth on that. We've got a passive, fully heal this champion and instantly remove any stun debuffs whenever an enemy places a stun debuff on this champion. Now, the first thing that comes to mind with this, obviously, is the clan boss. The clan boss has that one ability where it's a single target, boom, stun. And if you can get the clan boss to target Ultimate Galek with that, it's going to basically be a heal and do nothing. So the clan boss is just going to be working for you. It's going to be healing Ultimate Galek. So it can be very tough to get the clan boss to target that stun on you. There's multiple different factors that go into that. That would be a whole other, you know, huge discussion to go into, but that's the first thing that comes to mind. If you can get the clan boss to target Ultimate Galek with that stun, then it's basically just a free heal. So yeah, now I'll pull up this infographic here, and this will be down in the video description if you want to take a look for yourself and kind of go over it. So obviously speed and accuracy are going to be very important for, you know, Galek. We have to be landing those HP burns. That's a lot of his value is tied up in the accuracy being very high. And then we're just a damage dealer besides that. We want crit rate, crit damage, and attack. And, you know, he hits pretty hard. You know, I was noticing when kind of, you know, doing the campaign and doing some dungeons that his abilities do have some pretty decent multipliers for an epic, and he does some pretty good damage. So he should be pretty good. Gave him a B+ in the campaign. I'll show you him as a solo endgame campaign farmer for farming food. He's pretty good at it. He's going to be similar to your Kale or something like that, where he can, you know, clear it in like 20 to 30 seconds if he's maxed out and has good gear. Clan boss B-. He does place, you know, the HP burn and stuff, and has the ability where you can target the stun, but I don't think he's going to be like meta, you know, end game for clan boss. Arena, I gave him a C. He's just kind of, I mean, he's okay, but he's not like meta. Dungeons, B+. He's going to be pretty good in a lot of those kind of standard dungeons, somebody who hits hard and places HP burn. Faction Wars, he's an A. He's going to be a really good orc to have in your Faction Wars squad. So yeah, that kind of covers it for that. That'll be down in the description, and as always, you want to use the masteries as a template. You don't want to just blindly follow masteries. Use it as a starting point. Make sure you're reading over the masteries and building the character how you know, want to use them and tailoring them to your style. And he takes 13 books to max out, which is decently high. I would say epics are typically in between like 8 and 15, so a little bit on the higher end on the book requirement, but he is a pretty good champion, so that is all right there. And okay, so let's go ahead and pull up my UG here. All right, so here's mine, and admittedly, I don't have like the perfect, amazing god tier gear on him. I had to kind of, you know, put together some good pieces based on what I had. So obviously his accuracy is insane because I had really good accuracy pieces laying around that I wasn't using. But yeah, he scales off of attack. So we do want good attack on you know, like attack percentage chest and stuff like that. And we also need really good accuracy and speed. So you'll see here I went with crit rate gloves, because remember, it is very important to get crit rate on him. You know, that will unlock the max of his potential. I have him currently at 95%. I would definitely want to get that to 100 and kind of min max his gear like that. Attack percentage chest makes him hit that much harder. Speed boots, pretty standard there. With the jewelry, you're just looking for, you know, good attack and percentage stats here. And then for the amulet, you're probably going to want like a crit damage ammy. You know, you might want to go a more sustained style if you're just going to be using him for like the AoE HP burn on the spider or the clan boss or something. But if you're going to be using him as a damage dealer for like the campaign or dungeons, we're going to go crit damage. And then we're almost always going to want an accuracy banner on Ultimate Galek, and ideally you would get like attack and speed besides that. So yeah, that's kind of how I geared mine and what I'm working with here. And now I will show you him in action here as an end game campaign farmer. I was pretty pleasantly surprised with how well, you know, I did this one test run here. That's why they're level 7, just to kind of see exactly what he was capable of. Now, the one thing that is kind of annoying, he doesn't have an aura, so you're gonna get this pop-up every time. I really wish they added, or not added an option, just removed this for anybody who's above like level 10 on their account. You don't need this notification anymore. I really wish they did away with that. But yeah, anyway, this will kind of show you. So yeah, you can see there he hits pretty hard. My Galek doesn't have like god tier gear or anything, and he was able to one-shot all those champions. He hit for 23k right there. Boom, he hit for 48k right there on that ability. So puts out some decent damage. 40k there. Oh, 78,000. Yeah, so he's really not having a problem with farming the brutal campaign and smashing these champions down. So that's exciting that people are gonna, you know, be able to get their hands on, or at least Amazon Prime customers are gonna be able to get their hands on a champion that's, you know, end game viable for being a farmer for you. Brutal is basically just as viable as Nightmare, so you don't need to like force yourself into clearing Nightmare. You can solo farm 12-3 and progress in the game very rapidly if you just have a good campaign farmer. So Ultimate Galek can slot into that role, and even though I don't have god tier ridiculous min-maxed gear on him, he's able to do it just fine. He'll probably average about 30 seconds or so on clearing 12-3 brutal. And then also I'll show you him in kind of a standard dungeon. I went ahead and on the Arcane Keep, the last level of it, I built kind of like a free-to-play or like a min-to-play team here where it's kind of some rares and some epics and no like super meta legendaries or anything. And let's kind of see what numbers, you know, Ultimate Galek does here. Okay, there we go. I should probably get a little bit more speed on him. But he's, you know, this is a stage 15 of a potion dungeon, and without being perfect, he's able to one-shot these champions and stuff and hold his own. So not bad. We got to the boss in 30 seconds. And then at the end, I'll kind of show you how the damage numbers compare, like how he slots in compared to like a Royal Guard and a Madame Cerise. Yeah, that was a weak hit there, or a non-crit. Because remember, I have like 95% crit rate on him. I need to get that to 100 for sure. So that gimped him a little bit there. But yeah, he did 306. He's keeping up with the Royal Guard, and he beat the Madame Cerise, even though he didn't have probably as good a gear and not as good a speed. So definitely a pretty decent damage dealer in dungeons. All right, and one thing I do like to do in my champion guides is go through and kind of rate them, do the review system here. So for the recommended artifacts, they're going with crit rate and offense. That's not a horrible recommendation because crit rate is very important on him. I would have gone crit rate, speed, and offense or something. But sometimes the in-game suggestions are really bad. This isn't really bad. This is pretty decent. All right, so Clan Boss, 4.08 is a little bit too high for him. The constant HP burns and the stun removal, it's like a 3.6 I want to give him. I'm going to give him a 3. I mean, he's usable, but I don't think he's that great there. Campaign, I'll give him a 4. Spiders, then I'll give him a 5 because he's got a really cool synergistic style and will help you to be able to, you know, beat the spider, you know, on auto with those HP burn and cross affinity tank strats and get your arbiter and complete your missions. So he's also magic, and spider 20 is spirit, so I'll definitely give him a 5 there. Dragon's Lair, a 4. Arena offense, 3. Minotaur, 4. Arena defense, he's a little bit better on defense probably than offense, so I'll give him a 4. Spirit Keep, he counters the affinity, but he doesn't like block healing or anything. But since he does counter the affinity and burn stuff down, I'll give him a 4. I'll be generous there. Magic Keep, no shield removal or anything like that. He's okay. Ice Golem, I'll give him. He's a little bit. Again, a lot of these are just coming in at like 3.5, so it's kind of tough. Fire Knight is a 3. Well, he's affinity countered, so I'll give him a 2. He won't be landing debuffs if he's hitting weak. Void's 5. He's fine there. And then, or wait, no, I was wrong on the Fire Knight. I got it mixed up with the Force Keep. Fire Knight, but he's still a 2, honestly. That was accurate because he has that single hit A1. The Force Keep is what I was thinking of originally, so I'll give him a 2. So, yeah, I would say he's worst in, like, the Fire Knight and the Force Keep, and he'd be best in, like, the Spider and the Campaign, and then, you know, a few of those other dungeons, like the Minotaur and the Dragon and the Golem, he could do just fine. But they also don't show Faction Wars on here, and I would give him a 5 in Faction Wars, and they also don't show the Arcane Keep, which I would give him a 5. So, yeah, that kind of does it. Let's submit those. And, you know, I apologize for not, you know, diving into this as deep as I normally would and really having more stuff to show. I'm really on a time crunch today, and I wanted to get this out. So I will do a dedicated video, I promise you, on the, you know, like trying to use him in a defensive, you know, more free to play cross affinity spider tank strat to complete those missions and get your arbiters out there. So, but hopefully this helps you out a little bit. All in all, Ultimate Galek is worth investing in. He's a pretty good champion. Well, he's very good for beginners and mid-game players, and he's end-game viable in a few different areas of the game. So, you know, not an amazing god tier champion, but a pretty good epic and probably worth investing in. So, yeah, anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments. If you've played around with Ultimate Galek, if you've tested him, if you enjoy him or dislike him, or if, you know, whatever I'm right or wrong on, definitely let me know. I always appreciate hearing your input. So, yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.